For the first time, a former U.S. president is a convicted criminal. Yesterday, a 12-panel jury found former President Donald Trump guilty on all 34 felony counts of falsifying business records for a hush money payment to an adult film actress to keep that affair from getting out. Prosecutors say that this was done to cover up the affair to influence the 2016 election. Our 9 News legal analyst Scott Robinson is joining us right now. And Scott, I think one of the biggest questions people are having right now is, what is the reality of him actually serving any time behind bars?
It's almost a non-existent reality. It isn't just that he's in his 70s, a first-time white-collar crime, non-violent offender. It's that what happens to everybody else if he goes to Rikers Island or the Tombs, the security problems would be overwhelming. It would be a problem from the first day he walked into a facility until the last. Secret Service would be hard-pressed to protect a former president, at least at that time, from violent harm. So the reality is that he is never going to see a day in jail. I would be shocked if there was a jail sentence imposed.
And so if it's not jail, what are some of the other sentencing options that are there for this kind of verdict?
New York has some different stuff than we got. He could be sentenced to time served. Time served? He just checked in for a few minutes and was booked, but that's one option. A second option is what's called a conditional discharge, which typically requires a period of community service, and then the sentence is over. Or probation, which would require some probation officer to be monitoring the movements of a former and perhaps present president as a probation officer. That's a job most would not want. Or finally, he could be sent to incarceration. The guidelines are 16 months to 4 years for these crimes, and they would probably run concurrently. But I consider that to be such an unlikely event that it's almost meaningless to talk about it.
Yeah. Could there be fines as well, financial penalties?
Yes, there could be financial penalties. Considering the judgments that are pending against Mr. Trump at this point, that might not be the way that the judge goes. I think it's far more likely that he will either have a conditional discharge, probation, or, as I indicated, time served, which is a real reality on the theory that he's already been punished because he's been convicted of felonies, and he's had to sit through a trial that lasted weeks and weeks and weeks.
And as anticipated, there's promise of appeal. What does that process look like? How long could that take to play out?
Well, there are two stages of appeals in New York. The first goes to the appellate division, and then after that to their equivalent of our Supreme Court, the New York Court of Appeals. Appeals typically take about 2 years to complete, but there is nothing typical about this case. It was a long trial, and although the transcript will be immediately available, which is unusual, the reality is that there'll be a lot of issues raised. I think 2 years is a minimum for the appeal to go through the whole system.
Okay, so with that kind of timeline anticipated, how is this impacting the upcoming election?
Well, that depends a lot on the voters, I guess. Eugene Debs ran for president in 1920 for the 4th time as the Socialist Party nominee, and he never got any electoral votes, but over 100 years ago, an individual convicted of a felony was able to run for president. So there's no legal impediment to him running for president. It's up to the voting public to decide if he's someone worthy of their votes.
All right. Well, we really appreciate you coming by to help give a little perspective to all of the things that we've been learning in the last day or so.
Amazing situation, unprecedented.
All right. We really appreciate it. Thank you.